Alrighty, on to chapter 9 of Outlier by Lisa Beason. And it's a super short one. We'll probably just go on to chapter 10 afterwards, but we'll see. Chapter 9. Adam turned off the highway onto the gravel road that led to Paradise Glades. But the brief comfort he felt from returning home couldn't counter the hard knot in his chest that had been his constant companion since the day Ari left. The fact that there had been traces of Ari's blood found where the agent had accidentally shot her, and then only to have it mysteriously disappear from evidence, increased the tightness in his chest. Weeks of searching only led to dead end after dead end. The phone number on Gordon Reinhold's business card only led to an automated message that asked for the caller's name. He tried calling twice, first giving his name and then giving the name on Ari's fake passport. The call cut out both times. He figured it must be voice recognition software, but how were they able to get a sample of Ari's voice? He had no idea. Next, he tried the address and found out it was just a small shop called Nexus Organic Cafe and Healing Center. But they checked out clean. No one had seen Ari or her companion since they vanished from the rooftop. Ever since he had had that strange dream a couple months ago, he'd had a persistent thought in the back of his mind that he should go check on Ari's family. But he had to follow every possible lead in finding her before he could even think about going that route. I should talk to that Ruby St. Clair woman and see if she could give me any clues as to where Ari is. She's supposedly an oracle after all. As he pulled the rental car in front of the house, Noah was already coming down the porch steps to greet him. They had rigged a security camera and more sensors in the tree line by the highway that connected to Noah's phone before Adam had left. If it had been a car he found suspicious, it wouldn't have made it past the front gate. Adam got out of the car and greeted the big man who had served by his side on his last deployment to Afghanistan. He wouldn't trust just anyone to protect his baby sister. But Noah had proven himself 10 times over. He embraced his friend. Thanks again for doing this, man. Not a problem. Since I'm between jobs at the moment, it's been a nice place to crash, he said, patting Adam's back. And your sister's open hostility to having a babysitter, as she calls it, has turned into a reluctant tolerance. So we're making progress, he joked, turning towards the barn where Jamie could be heard working on one of her sculptures. Good to hear, because I'm just stopping by for a week or so before I head down south. You don't mind staying a while longer, do you? He hated to ask more of his friend, since the guy had already given up so much of his time for this. It's not a problem. Like I said, I like it here. But I have to ask, what is it about this kid that's made you so determined to find her? I mean, from what we found out about the people after her, it might be better to just let it go. It feels like the right thing to do. She's special. The suits wouldn't want her so bad if she wasn't. I promised I'd protect her, and I will. Even if I have to search the whole damn world for her. Noah grabbed his shoulder. I just don't want you to disappear like the other poor saps that tried to mess with these people. It's important I do this, Noah. I can feel it. He looked down at his hands. I can't fail her. I won't, he declared. Noah nodded in understanding. He knew what Adam had been through. Okay, man, I get it. You do what you gotta do. I'll be here, he assured him. Besides, this has been the easiest gig I've had in a while. It's basically just making sure Jamie eats and sleeps at regular intervals. Adam's brow furrowed in concern. What do you mean? Why would you have to do that? Since you left, she's been working nonstop on a sculpture. What is it? What could possibly distract her enough to make her forget to eat and sleep? Those are her two favorite things. It's better if I just showed you. Noah led him around to the back of the barn. When they turned the corner, Adam stopped dead, taking in the scene in front of him. The sculpture was too colossal to fit inside the barn, so Jamie had created a space behind it to work outside. All her welding equipment was attached to miles of extension cords running into the barn. Jamie was on top of some homemade scaffolding, welding crushed aluminum cans as leaves on a life-size tree that had to be at least 15 feet high. The trunk and branches were an amalgam of long coils of different kinds of thick metal wires. They almost hypnotized him the way they seemed to swirl around in strange, whirling patterns. It was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "What the hell?" Adam marveled as he raked a hand through his hair. "When she wasn't working, she was dragging me across the county looking for scrap metal. Then she bought out the soda aisles at every grocery store in town. When people started to complain, she told them that she was on a crusade to save their children from the obesity epidemic, and that they were welcome." Noah chuckled at the memory. "Huh," Adam said, perplexed as he continued to watch Jamie weld can after can onto the end of one of the branches. "Good thing she's almost done. I swear I've never drank so much soda in my life. I can't stand the stuff now." When Jamie finally took a break, she took off her work gloves and lifted up her mask to finish a can of lemon lime soda. She emptied it and then put it down on the scaffold and crushed it with the heel of her work boot. Adam put his hands around his mouth and yelled loudly, "Hey, crazy pants! What the hell are you doing?" Jamie's head whipped around and she squealed, "Adam!" She took off her mask and quickly climbed down, running into his awaiting arms. She squeezed him tight, then pulled back and looked at him eagerly. "Did you find her?" The smile left Adam's face, and he just shook his head. "No." Jamie looked him in the eyes. "You will. If anyone can, it's you," she said, willing him to believe it. "You'll bring her home, I know it." He nodded. Her continual blind faith in him was always a source of strength. Even when they were kids, she always trusted he could make the bullies and monsters go away. It was never their parents she ran to when she had a nightmare. It was him. He cleared his throat and looked back at the massive metal tree sculpture. "So what the hell is all this about?" Jamie looked over at her creation like she was just looking at it as a whole for the first time. "I don't really know, but I've been dreaming of it almost every night since you've been gone, and it keeps me busy. I hate just sitting around, wondering where she is and if she's safe." "I know how you feel." He draped his arm around her shoulders. "How about you take a break? I haven't had a home-cooked meal in a while, and you need something other than soda." "Ugh, you're starting to sound like him," she said, pointing her thumb over at Noah. "He's always trying to shove food down my throat like an old Italian woman." Noah just looked towards the sky and shook his head as he inwardly laughed at her antics. "Come on, Mamma Mia. I guess you can come too," she called over her shoulder as she and Adam turned to walk towards the house. And that was chapter 9. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video as short as it may be, because then we go back to Ari in Artemir. So that was just a quick little takeaway from the story for a minute there. Well, from the main path. Thank you for joining. Have a great day. Peace.